Welcome to Pen Tool Photoshop. In this tutorial, we'll cover creating, selecting, and activating paths. So you always want to start by pressing P. This will make sure you're actually on the pen tool. So the next thing you need to do is create a new path. So if you go across the Paths palette, click on the flyout menu, and you can choose New Path. This will give you the option to label your path. In most cases, you'll just leave it as Path 1. But if you're working with a few people in a team, or if you know you're going to have a whole lot of paths, and it's worth labeling these paths because you might revisit the job in 6 months and you want to know what the path relates to. But in most cases, you can just leave it as Path 1, or 2, 3, 4. So there's your path there, and then when I click, you can see it adds to this path. The second way of doing it is I can just click on this button down here next to the trash can. Same thing again. You can see it starts to add the path to that path 1. Now they're probably the best habits you can get into. If you want to start off, always just click on that and just start pathing. That's probably the best way of doing it. Realistically, most people tend to just click somewhere on the image, and then if you hold down the Shift key, it will constrain those lines. So you can see this line here wasn't quite straight. If I hold down the Shift key, and just click. Okay, so at the moment, I just want this to be a line. You can see it's got this rubber band is still coming off the end. So if you hit Escape, that will cancel that, and so now it's not coming off the end anymore. If I click on that point again, you can see it's rubber band. The other way of escaping out of that is to hold down the Command key and then click on the background. And that will just close the end the path. This path is not actually closed though. So you can see here, it's still a working path. So if I was to, I wanted to cut out this next shape. So if I clicked off that and I started to cut out the next shape, you can see it's removed the first shape. You see it's deleted the first shape that I had. So in this case where I'd have to go back. Right, so I've got the first shape there, double click, save it as path 1. Now if I click off it and I click here, you can see it's created a new work path and path 1 has been saved. So to close the path, you can see when I hover over that first square, it's put a little circle. And when I click, that path's closed. And double click on the working path, save it as path 2. With the pen tool, you can select a path and then activate a path. So selecting is a matter of clicking on the path name in the Paths palette, Command, and then clicking and dragging over the path, and that will select the whole path. To activate it, you click on one of the points, and now it's activated. You can see the rubber band is connected. So that's now activated. So it's an important distinction between clicking on a path and activating a path. So selecting and activating. So this is now selecting path 2. If I can Command, click and drag over it, now I can hold down to Command on this point and drag. And I'll go into more detail with moving these anchors and lines in the next tutorial. But for now, just get comfortable with selecting paths, Command clicking over them to activate them, and holding down the Shift key, constraining them, and just making a working path, saving as a path. It's all in steps, and if you get these parts all down, all the harder stuff later on becomes a lot easier. So practice this, even though it's very basic, beginner level, it'll step you right through to the more advanced stuff, and you build upon these basic skills to then become more fluent later on. So that was creating, selecting, and activating paths, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.